Let's look at how I use some of our favourite pedals to produce and mix a track for another artist. If you haven't heard of the American artist Jason Keisling yet, then I recommend that you do so. Jason recently entrusted me with producing and mixing his new EP. He sent me some of the rough stems and I went to town. Thankfully, Jason trusted me enough to let me try some new ideas, which aside from the standard mixing process, involved me reamping some of his tracks through my pedal board, out of my DAW and back into my audio device. So as you can see on my screen here, this is the overall session. This track is called Particle Accelerator, which I believe is out now, and I'll drop the link down in the description below. As you can see, the track is just over 5 minutes long, so pretty lengthy. And it was a more electronic, beat-heavy track than what Jason is used to producing. So bringing up the mix here at the bottom, what you can see is I've applied a fair few plugins directly to the tracks and then opened up a load of buses, say a load, 3 buses. And I'm not going to go into all of that stuff now. If you want me to talk around what I've done around all of that, then comment below and I can come back and share that with you in another video. Lots of decapitator, lots of Shep's Omni-channel, which I love using to probably EQ and shape and compress a little bit more, and then some channel EQ, a bit of waves R-bass, and then 3 buses, which as you can see mostly compress and then slightly EQ on a global scale. However, what you will see looking at the screen here is that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks which are in sort of pink colour, and they're the tracks that I amped out, 5 actually up here. They're the tracks that I brought out of my Focusrite into the pedal board and put back in. So I'm going to share some of those with you. Let's just loop some of those sections. So firstly here, the piano. So let's hear that in solo. We'll just hear that in the context. Almost like a Rhodes, quite highly saturated sound that they're going for there. And that's the track that Jason sent through to me. And I've kept that track in, as you can see, it's in the mix. But what I have done is gone and kind of doubled it with a stereo track. So let's just listen to what I've done there. That is one of my favourite hall settings off the Strymon Bigsky that I've applied to that there. I'm just going to play you the track with that on and off, just so you can understand how that's making an impact onto the track. So, without, now in. I think the result is that kind of pulls and joins all the track in by adding that sort of low mix, wide hall reverb that underpins all of the other beats and blips and blops that are coming in over the top of it. So that's the first thing that I did using the Strymon Bigsky, I think, to really good effect. So let's go to the next bit that I've impacted down here, and this is called Pad. So let's just listen to what that is. Yeah, so we've got 2 of these, 3 of these. So we've got lead synths. Again, this is what Jason sent me. Okay, let's see what I've done. Yeah, so hopefully what you can hear is that Jason's initial pad came out of the right hand, or that's what I can hear, right hand speaker. So I've taken that and I've put it into the Meris LVX, which I use a lot. I did a really wet, high sort of shimmer and panned it into the left hand side. So let's hear it just as Jason sent on the right hand side. And now it's in the Meris. So let's hear just with Jason's at the right hand side. And now bring mine in. In my opinion, adds those high frequencies and stretches the stereo spread. Let's hear, got here. And that's Jason's. and I brought in, slightly panned to the right, the opposite end, this part. Together. And I did this quite a lot on the track, so Jason's parts again were kind of affected as he wanted the sound, but all pretty much dry, which I loved having the ability to play with. And what I wanted to do was maintain the dry signal, but then always bounce off it something nastier and distorted and delayed. So again, Meris LVX definitely applied some overdrive to that signal, a bit of a short delay, but a really saturated, quite nasty, mangled delayed sound. Let's hear it without mine. Just Jason's track in the full mix, and then I'll add in mine on top of that. So there we go. Again, to me, it just sounds a bit fuller, kind of spreads the dynamic range. The next part Jason gave me. So again, a synth, this time panned far to the left, and I brought in this part. Yeah, so what I've done there is again use the Meris LVX, and because you can order the effects and the impact of the effects on the signal chain in the Meris LVX, I've actually only applied this to the delayed signal. So kept the dry signal exactly the same as what Jason's playing, but really added some grit, some gain and drive onto the delayed sound, and again pitched it up. So let's just listen to that again. It's Jason's. Again, let's hear just Jason's in the mix with everything else. Now, same with mine in as well. Okay, so that section, as you can see, I've applied several things to that bit. Let's take out the 3 that I've done and just leave Jason's in, and then we'll hear the impact of what I've added. So without. And with. So for me, that just adds a lot of breadth and depth to the frequency range and really makes a bigger impact to make some of those lead lines pop, but also gives it that broader reverbed sort of pad that sits underneath it. So just really fills out that sort of low mid range as well. We have another line down here. So a bit of a jagged, a synthy, syncopated line that Jason's played. That sounds like this. Yeah, again, which is really cool. And I think this ties into the other tracks I've just walked through. A lot of what Jason gave me were very, very mid-heavy. So what I like to try and do is just try and make sure I'm addressing as much of the frequency spectrum as I can when it's relevant. So you'll see that now. What I've done is added a stereo image, again from the Meris LVX. Thing's an absolute workhorse for these sort of things. And I imagine if anyone's watching this that's running a studio, get one of those things because you can use it in so many applications. But let's just listen to, again, the original and then what I've done. Mine. So I've used the Hydra pitch algorithm that's in the Meris there. Almost no delay, so it's like a dry, undelayed signal coming in. Left-hand speaker is the high octave, I think an octave or 2 up, and the right-hand speaker is octave down, I think. So we'll combine those together. Back in the mix. Just Jason's. And then both in. Yeah, just gives it a bit more weight in the bottom end and some nice high-end stuff in the mix too. Fast forward into the very end of the track and the outro, this is what it sounds like. So So you've got this sort of almost broken outro where it's kind of crumbling apart, is how I would describe it. And on this stem here, I added some room, Bigsky, so quite a small reverb really on top of that. I ran it through the LVX and again used some distortion from the LVX, which I think sounds really, really good. And I also put it through the Chase Bliss Generation Loss Mark II for a bit of wow and flutter, again, just to make it sound like it's degraded and sort of that tape effect almost falling away, broken. Yeah, so it just makes it sound a bit nastier really and a bit grimier, which I thought was really appropriate. So there we go. I can take them off finally, thank God. So that is how I am reamping some parts on tracks that I'm working for, both for myself, for Oldenard, a band that I play in, for Jason, working with another artist at the moment, and run it through the pedal board and putting it to really, really great use to bring out sounds which you could possibly get from some plugins, but in some cases, in some instances on your pedal board, there's just sounds that you can immediately pull up that you know you can reach out and get. That it's going to take you a long time to pull out through plugins if you can get them at all. So if you know your pedals well, if you're working on stuff like this, then it's dead easy to hear a part and know instantly you can get that sound through one of your pedals on your board. If you want me to go into any more sort of details around this track or any of the others, then again, comment below. I really enjoy doing this sort of stuff and I don't make many videos like this. I just need a bit of encouragement from some of you to give me the thumbs up that this is the sort of stuff that you want to see. From my own selfish point of view, I love it if you went and checked out Jason and Particle Accelerator, which is this full track. I'm here on YouTube every Monday and Wednesday, dropping 2 new videos a week, as well as over on Instagram. So I'd love you to join me here. Just hit that subscribe button below, or over on Instagram, just come and find me. It's Nick Rees YT for YouTube, and I'll be sharing loads of behind the scenes stuff that I shoot there every single week. Thanks for watching.